Thank you.
Look smart today, Sonny. I guess you heard me right. You're muted. Can't hear you. Oh. All right, you mean live stream. Hello, live streamers. Denny Grimes going to be starting the mastery of real estate here in a few minutes, 6 minutes. And if you'd like the link so you can see it actually in our YouTube, well, it'll be on our YouTube channel. If you'd like to participate via Zoom, how can they do that? I guess you could send my Sunny Hammermeister an email and she'll send you the link for Zoom. And that's Sunny, S-U-N-N-I, at dennygrimes.com.
Good morning, Denny. Kevin will be here in a minute. This is Glenda. Good morning.
Hi, Wanda. Hi.
I did hear you, Denny. I was putting us on Facebook Live. So do you want to repeat that about the YouTube just so that I know?
Yeah, well, so you guys, if on Facebook, if you'd like to join the Zoom call, maybe you didn't know about it, maybe you're just, scooting around Facebook and you saw us, send Sunny, she is the co-host, along with John, he'll be on in a few minutes. And her email is Sunny, S-U-N-N-I, at dennygrimes.com. And she'll send you the Zoom link. And join us by Zoom, you can participate. So.
Awesome.
And I said a second ago, you were looking very smart today.
Yes, I was putting us on Facebook. I'm feeling very smart today, so I couldn't talk to you, but now I can.
Okay, well, good. I know smart people can only do one thing at a time.
That's right, monotasking.
Denny, you're doing a good job, honey.
Thank you. Tell Denny that again.
Okay, Denny, I said it.
Well, I see you put that, Sonny, that's awesome. You put your email in there. However, they won't see that on Facebook.
Yeah.
I spoke too soon about those glasses.
Yep, you did. You're going to have to, let me see if I can do it. I'll see if I can do it. If not.
We'll be starting in 4 minutes, guys, 4 minutes. And you guys, if you, and even if you don't want to Zoom, if you have a question, objection, something you want us to cover and you're on a stream like AOL, if you're on Facebook and you're streaming it, then just email Sunny the question, Sunny, S-U-N-N-I, at dennygrimes.com.
I put it on Facebook too.
See there?
Before we get started, Glenda and Patricia, if there's any way you could come off of your camera or come on camera, that would be awesome.
Yes, that would be awesome. Unless you're skydiving or something, have bad reception, like skydiving, that'd be okay. Just turn it on when you hit the ground. I don't mean really hit the ground, when
I'm
you
having a
land.
little bit of trouble here, so let me try to fix it.
It's all right. Kevin will probably come on when he gets there. I didn't see all the invitations go out today. Did they go out? Sonny? You're muted.
I don't know the answer to that. I know because Ann's not working, so I don't know. I'll have to find out.
Can you text support, email support, and who is working, see if they can send one out real quick? I did not
Yeah.
see them.
Okay, I'll do it right now.
Jim? All right, we got another minute.
Howdy, howdy.
Yeah, howdy, howdy.
I'm alive, excited, and full of energy, Denny.
Yes, you are.
You and everybody with you and all the students are the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. I am not exaggerating even a little.
You're my number one cheerleader in the world. Whenever I get a little bit sad, I go to you, Kevin. And watch this, Yael. Am I saying that right? Did you get your hair cut? It looked longer yesterday. There it is.
I made calls for an hour and a half, and I used your scripts.
And
One lady, so she was like, "No, no." What I said, you know, anyone who wants to take advantage of the market, and the home values, and she's like, "No, I'm not interested." So I said, "Oh," and I had called the house up the street that sold. I said, "Oh, I just wanted some information about the house that you just sold. How many offers did you get? 13. How many over asking? 8. What was the difference between the price of the one above and the one right below?" She's like, "It wasn't that far apart." I said, "What made them?" And she goes, "The one right below was cash." I said, "What made them take the one above?" She goes, "They wanted to see the house go to a family." And then she said, "And we gave money as for the deck because they went so much over asking." And then this lady who I called, she said, "Oh, she's not interested." I said, "Oh, well," she goes, "I have my license." So then I pivoted to the, "Oh, that's so great. You know, what brokerage are you with?" She goes, "Oh, it's expired." And she goes, but basically I told her all that information from the other person. And within the half an hour, we were best friends. And I'm going to stop by next week and send her some paint colors. And yeah. We'll see
Yeah,
what
look at that. There's good things that happen when you do something proactively. I'll apologize right now. I lost my voice on Monday. I had to teach Bold on Tuesday, and then those guys had to put up with me. It's better. It was better this morning. It's a little bit weak now because I've been talking all day. So I apologize if it's a little annoying. I promise you the content, although it may sound like a record. Maybe you don't know what records are. It may sound a little scratchy. However, we'll have a good time. John is on, my co-host. John, how's it going, John?
Good, Denny. How you doing?
Awesome. So I want to start.
You moved your microphone a little closer. That is definitely helping your voice.
Okay, is that better?
Much better.
Okay, now it hides because it hides my face, John. Okay, so nice job. So
Face for radio, baby. Face for radio.
As you guys know, we do a question-based, listing-enhanced conversation. And if you're new to the channel, we do have a YouTube channel up, Denny Grimes Mastery. And if you'd like a recording of all the stuff we've done, we've got tons of stuff. I'll be posting it today or tomorrow, probably my latest TV spot. I do one every other week on a Wink affiliate. I'll share some information with you so you can kind of put it in your bonnet and use it maybe and watch for it in your marketplace. Those are only about 3 minutes. And then I have a year and a half worth of these role play calls that you can go back and listen to. And I know some people do. So anyway, so awesome. That's what it looks like. And when we talk about things, we want to follow the model. So John may say, what's the model? And Keller Williams, if we happen to be Keller Williams, you may or may not be. However, when you have a model to follow, it's easier. It's only 4 steps. And it would be easy to remember if it was only 3, but 4, you guys can handle it. You acknowledge their objection. Remember, if they were not interested, they would just say, adios. They would leave, slam the door, hang up the phone. And if you're taking notes and you want a great affirmation, one would be, objections are my friend. Because if they don't object, and the hardest clients, you guys know this, are the ones that don't talk to you at all. So anyway, so the model is acknowledge, isolate, address, and close. And my thought of the day is this. So I did a little research on January last month. Now I know you're in different markets, and you can let us know in the chat if this is similar to your market. January was a record-setting month for us. Now what's interesting about that, it's not what you think. The sales in January were almost record-setting low. The sales in January were the lowest sales we've had in my area, Naples, Fort Myers, homes and condos, significantly below, anywhere from 11 to 30% below anything in the last 2 years. So that's kind of a record there, low sales. Now, on the other hand, prices set another record in January. We are still seeing upward pressure on prices, and the numbers won't mean anything. Fort Myers is just over 400,000. Naples is a little bit more expensive. You can imagine in your memory, Naples is just over 700,000 from a median sales price. But that's somewhere between 20 and 30% more than it was last January. Now, I want you to remember that, because you are going to be talking to buyers, and some of the objections you're having with buyers is, and we'll do one here in a second, there's going to be some hesitancy. They can't find what they want. They don't feel comfortable moving forward in the market. I want you to remember, you should know what your numbers are. However, you will know just from what I'm telling you that the market in general, probably everywhere, not necessarily in all price points, is up between 20 and 30%. So can anyone give me an idea? You can speak up if you want before we go into our first little role play. It's kind of a paradox to have record low sales and record high prices. Does anyone want to take a wild guess on what the reason for that might be?
In our market, we had, I think, about 1,000 homes available for sale. And this year, only 600. So you have less inventory on the market. You're going to have lower sales, but you're going to have higher prices.
That's exactly what we're finding here. And I'm sure you guys are seeing it too. Therefore, it's important to work on. And every week, John, I want to make sure we cover the top buyer and seller objection, which we'll get to in a second. That's what's going on. And it would be interesting to note what our sales could be in our markets if there were enough properties for sale. Our inventory is also the third record we set last month. January is record low inventory. I did a lookup just in our county. We have about, I don't know, what's our population, John, in Lee County? Maybe 700,000, maybe.
I guess it depends on the time of year, but yeah.
Oh, more, yeah, this time of year. There's 1 million people here this time of year.
Yep.
And if you were looking in around the median, 300 to 350,000, I know Kevin's in San Francisco. You couldn't buy a Santa John for that. There's less than 100 homes for sale. So can a buyer have a long wish list and still succeed in the market you're in? Probably not. And that's an expectation conversation that you guys may want to have today, because, you know, hey, if you could date anyone, how about Farrah Fawcett, right? Or am I dating myself with Farrah Fawcett, John? Maybe it would be somebody a little
Dude,
bit
you're completely dating yourself. I think between you, me, Al, and maybe Kevin or Jim, that's about it. Who would recognize that? So you might need to go a little more current than that one, buddy.
I'll have to work on that. In Collier County in Naples, take a wild guess. Now, John, you can't answer because you specialize in Naples. If you want to be in the median price range in the U.S. and go to Naples and you say you're from 3 to 350, you want to buy a home and it doesn't have wheels on it. Guess how many homes you have to choose from? You don't need more than fingers. Only 7. So, is it possible that buyers not only are frustrated because prices are up 20 or 30% in the last year? Could it be possible, or are you experiencing the fact that buyers might be frustrated because it's like going shopping in some of our stores right now, and you look at, or it's like attempting to buy toilet paper when COVID first started. I mean, the shelves were bare. So are you guys experienced buyers? And if, are you guys experienced in that? Just put yes or no in the chat, because I want to handle a couple buyer conversations. John and I work with our team on a couple of these different things. So John, any thoughts on that before we get started?
No, sir. Not that I'm thoughtless today. You just happen to cover it.
Well, that's pretty good. Well, here we're going to start with everyone agreed last time. The top seller objection is, whoops, here we go. If I sell, where am I going to go? That inventory shortage is not only frustrating buyers, it's frustrating sellers who want to become buyers. So if you have a workaround and can have the right conversation, then there's a good probability that you're going to have a good relationship and maybe even turn one of them, or the seller, into a golden seller. So that's the objection. We cover it. We list it every week because that's the #1 seller objection in the country. Anyone want a little practice at handling that from an agent standpoint, following our model: acknowledge, isolate, answer, close? You can raise your hand or speak up.
I'll do it. I give everyone 10 seconds to go ahead of me, and if they don't, I'll take the spot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I can see the blood coming down your lip. You were biting your lip. All right. So, John, you need to warm up a little bit. You can be the seller. That's the objection. And when she. So here we go. The objection is, hey, look, if I sell, I won't have anywhere to go, so I think I'll stay put. Go, Yael.
So let me just review. So it's isolate.
Acknowledge first.
Okay. Wow. So if you don't have anywhere to go, then you don't have anywhere to go, then that's your concern, is that you have nowhere to go. Kind of pause for this. Because
that's not a very good start.
That's a horrible acknowledgement. Duh, they just told that to me. Why am I saying it back to them?
Yeah, what's the acknowledgement?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's really hard.
No, just say, I understand.
I get it.
Man, I have to be one of your kids. Like, oh, man. Just say, I understand.
I understand.
Now, go into the isolation.
So other than that, is there any other reason that would hold you back from selling?
If you've been on this call before, you guys
really would like to
write those words down. Other than that, I'm sorry. Go ahead, John.
Yeah. Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Remember? No, that's it. If we could, I just have nowhere to go, and I'd be buying at the top of the market.
And let me ask you: do you need to sell your home in order to buy?
I'd like to. I really have no desire to be a landlord.
All right, but technically, you can find a house. If you found a house that you like, you'd be able to go ahead and purchase that first before selling your home.
I might be able to, but I don't think I would be comfortable doing that. That would tie too much stuff up.
I got that. And then, give me a second. And are you familiar with the homes that are available on the, okay, we're going to do what area are you looking to buy in?
Golden Gate Estates.
Stay and roll.
Oh, stay and roll, fine. Oh, so which area would you guys feel that was the right place for you to live?
I'd like to move out to Golden Gate Estates area, get a little bit more land.
All right, so I'm not familiar with your area, but is that like within 20 minutes, 30 minutes?
It's fairly local. It's just big lots, as opposed to little postage stamp
Are you
stuff.
familiar? Have you looked online for something that would suit your needs? How often does something come up in that?
Yeah, I can't find anything. It's pretty discouraging.
Now, hang on, guy. I'm going to just pause you for the rest of the folks. Now, Yael's been with us a couple of different times so far, except for the awkward acknowledgement. She is following the path beautifully. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop and point out what she's done, and get ready. You're going to go back into this, okay? The first thing you want to do with a seller like that is find out if they're a buyer or seller. That's what she did. You need to sell this house in order to buy your next house. Now, I know that a lot of people say they're both. Well, they're not both. If they have to sell before they buy, they're not a buyer, they're a seller and a wanter, right? So she asked the question, awesome job. The next step is she's going to have a conversation about where they're going. And has John been looking at homes in that area where he's going? And meaning, if he sold his house, is there a house out there that he sees online that he'd like to move to? That is basically solving the issue of someone that, I mean, how can you move a seller is like, well, I have to sell first. Well, I want to be in Golden Gate. Well, have you seen anything you like? No, they're all out of my price range. So I don't know how to move that person, right? You're gonna have to move them somewhere else. So far she's handling it perfectly. So make me proud, land the plane, go.
Before I land the plane, I need just a little bit more direction. For me, maybe this is because it's role play and script practice, but it felt like I wasn't, obviously if it was in the real world, I'd be more engaged. But okay, so the next step, so where are we up to, John?
Yeah, you asked him if he's looking online.
Oh,
Yeah,
is he looking online?
looking online, haven't
He
found
hasn't
anything.
Anything he wants, he
Yep.
likes. So can I go to motivation, Denny?
Hey, you're flying the plane.
I'm flying the plane. So what's driving you to take the step to move to selling and buying? You know, what's motivating you to sell right now and do this transition?
Well, without being able to find anything, I don't have an awful lot of motivation to sell. I want to get a little more land. You know, I love my neighbors. I just don't love them that much that I want to be that close. I'd like a little bit of space between the houses.
And are you able to afford to buy something with more land? I mean, because you told me that when you look online, you're not finding what you want, but if you're more specific, how much land are you looking for?
I want to get a couple acres.
Okay, because when I'm looking online right now and I see there's a couple, you know, I see something for 5 acres that's on the market for 675,000 is, you know, are you aware of that property on 123, you know?
Now you're getting lost in the weeds.
Oh, okay.
So, all right, that's awesome. You did a good job. All right, somebody take over that, you know, any way you want to do it. Again, awesome job on staying with it. You just got a little bit sideways there. You don't want to dwell.
Going to motivation was the right direction.
It's always a good decision to go to motivation, you guys. Now, again, typically, if we weren't on a call that had a time limit on it and you have an attention span, we're probably already maxing out, you would go a little bit deeper into the motivation. And the fact that they want a bigger lot, blah, blah, blah. So let's reverse roles. And John, you go, and now from that point, go forward and land the plane.
Okay.
All right. So we're going back, starting right off at motivation. So yeah, what is it about moving that you'd like? What do you want to accomplish moving?
Well, I want more land, and you know, I want to really have a place for my garage, and you know, have a quiet, no neighbors, no noise.
Okay. Awesome. I love that. And have you seen anything that interests you? Any property that checks things off for you? Say, hey, that'd be really cool to live there.
No, I haven't seen anything.
Okay. And if you did see the right thing, what would it look like?
Got it. Hold on. Well, it would have, you know, real country feel, and I want a 1 floor, and something in totally move-in condition.
Okay. Awesome. So by move-in condition, you don't want to lift a paintbrush. You just want to go in and start enjoying the new home and gardening and letting the animals run free.
No, I'm okay to paint and replace carpets, but I want the kitchen to be newer.
Okay. Awesome. You like to cook?
Oh, come on, stop it.
Oh, now she went right to kitchen, Denny.
Yeah, but
You know
we
how
don't
that
have
goes.
the time. I don't need to know the age and birthdays of our kids. Just stay on task, okay? I've got an audience to entertain.
Awesome. So yeah, if you were able to, if that property showed up today, cute little 1-story, has everything you're looking for, price point that you're happy with, if that were to hit the market today, what would you do?
Well, I can't really buy it if I didn't sell my house, so I don't know.
Okay, so you can't buy it or you can't really buy it. There's a little hesitation there. Is it a comfort issue for you?
Well,
Ooh,
I'm scared to do a transition, and financially, I don't know. Yeah, I can go on to all the fears.
Okay, so you're scared to do the transition. It sounds, and believe me, I understand. It sounds like what you're saying to me is you could make the purchase and you're uncomfortable doing that without your house being sold.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, how long would it take us to sell your house, do you think?
You tell me, you're the professional.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I'm not going to use my rum drink on the beach, Denny. Sorry, no crystal balls. Yeah. What do you think the average is right now in our marketplace?
You're the professional. What do you see?
It's under 2 weeks to find the right buyer for a property.
1 minute.
So if that house came on the market today and you could buy it, we could probably negotiate the terms in such a way as you can get your house on the market and moving forward. The question is, are you willing to work in that direction in order to get the place that you really want?
I'm not sure, Denny, what direction do you want me to go in?
Whatever direction you want to go in.
You're the seller, so you
yeah.
can do. You can tell
Oh,
the lady.
I'm going to talk it over with my husband.
Oh, he's
Ooh.
here with us. He's just very quiet. We never have listing appointments without those people here.
All right, so let's just take a pause. And John basically is setting up. Now, here's the thing I want you guys to understand. It's hard to make, it's not hard. It's what I want you guys to realize, that when you're dealing with a seller, it's like surgery. Now, some of you can cut faster than others, and some of you guys have a personality style to get to the point faster. What's interesting about watching different people do it, whether it's me or John or EIL, I can get that right. Okay, so
Forget it.
everyone does it
YW.
different. Here's the thing, though, that I want everyone to know. When a plane comes in for landing, they go into a pattern. Now, we want to get the plane on the runway, and the plane on the runway means, in this particular scenario, with this particular objection. Listen, if you can't buy, John was attempting to find out what comfort level they had. If they would, well, hey, look, let's go secure the home and we'll have 2 weeks to sell. That's going to be risky for a lot of sellers. I don't know that that'll move some people that long. What we want to do is, ultimately, landing the plane means, hey, listen, if you had the money in your home, you had your home sold right now, and you could stay in your home, you had the money, and you saw some stuff over there, and let's say that is anything come up that you've seen that you would buy? Well, why didn't you buy it? Why couldn't? Well, now you have the money, you can go buy the home. How much time would it take you? How much time would it take you to find the home? And what if the buyer would let you stay in your home after you have the money so you can go do that? That's the landing of the plane. Now, it has to be a conversation. For example, it can happen right away. However, I don't know if it would work as well. You guys can give me some feedback on this. All right. Hey, I won't have, if I sell, I won't have anywhere to go. Well, how about if I find somebody to buy your house, let you stay in there until you find a house, and then you can move? I think it's too much. It's like going from hello at Starbucks on your first date to booking the church for your wedding in 10 minutes. I think more conversation has to happen so you can set them up. So if you're taking notes, here's the lesson. You've got to make sure they understand they have a problem before they'll realize you have an answer. Until they realize they have a problem, and you have they won't even accept your answer.
Denny, that's awesome. I love that.
Wow, that's first.
That really, they until they realize that they have a problem, they don't know that you have the answer. That is simple, yet extremely deep. That's cool.
So let's do another pair. John, is there anybody there that has their hand up? And let's go at it one more time. Quick little 3-minute role play. Some nuances will come out, and I want you prepared to handle this objection. This will mean listing inventory for you. So, I imagine Tom Brady throws, well, I'm not happy with Tom Brady, but when he was playing, I'm sure he threw a lot of 15-yard out patterns until he got it perfect, right? So we're going to stay on this. Who wants to do it? We got some regulars out there. Let's see some new faces.
So Denny, can I call on some of your people from Vermont?
Are they on?
Yep, I got Valerie and Raquel here. I didn't know Raquel was from Vermont until I said Vermont and she raised her hand. So,
I'm not from Vermont. I'm from Greater Nassau in New York.
well,
yeah,
you know,
were you in my
Greater
bowl
Nashville's
class?
good too.
Were you in my bold class? And
I was involved in November, early
Yeah.
December.
Yeah, you can call on those guys. Valerie,
All
Valerie's in my bold class. She always sits right up front.
Perfect. All right. So which one would like to be the seller and which one like to be the agent? You guys got
I'll
like
be the
three-
seller.
Perfect. Good choice, Valerie.
And
All right. 3 minutes,
There we
guys.
go.
I'm going to start a timer.
all right, the model's in the notes. Go.
Right.
You already know the objections, so go ahead, agent.
Right. Okay. So she just told me the objection. Okay, I understand. So other than you don't have anywhere to go, is there anything else that will prevent you from selling your home?
Yeah, financing. I don't really want to finance more than I have to. So
Okay, I understand. So you don't want to finance and you don't have anywhere to go. Apart from those two reasons, is there anything else that will prevent you from selling your home?
I mean, I don't want to overpay for a house either. I don't want to get into a bidding war.
Okay, now she's doing a good job and she can go, we can do this until the hour's up. This is a 3-minute role play. I mean, you're gonna have a lot of objections. We'll be here all day. So can we stop there, Val? Just for
Yeah.
kicks and giggles? All right. Now, for the rest of you guys, Raquel is perfect, spot on with the model. Most people hear one and anything else, and they hear the second one, then they want to attack. She asked again, and so anyway, so nice job. Take it from there.
No,
Okay.
there's nothing else.
Okay, I understand. So your first reason, you said you don't have where to go and you don't want to finance.
Correct.
Okay, great. So if there was a way in which you don't have to finance and you could find a place to go, would you be willing to sell your home?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So where would you like to move to? What areas are you looking into?
Well, I live in a big house and my kids are all moved out, so I'd like to find a condo or something small for just me.
Okay, so based on what you're saying, you want to downsize.
Yep.
Okay, great. So do you have to sell your home in order to purchase the condo?
I mean, ideally, so I don't have to finance. If I can get a lump sum of cash and just buy a condo, that would be nice.
Okay, great. So in other words, if you sell your home, then you have equity in it. Am I correct?
Yeah, I've owned it for 22 years, I think.
Okay, fantastic. So you do have equity in your home. So if you should sell your home, that would give you the money to purchase the condo, correct?
Yeah, that's my,
Okay, great.
that would be ideal.
So the area that you want the condo in, have you seen any condos come up recently?
Yeah, I mean, they come on and off the market pretty quickly. I hear horror stories of bidding wars, and I'm just not sure I'd be able to get a place with the bidding wars.
How often would you say they come on?
I don't know, a couple times a week, but they don't stay on the market for very long, so I don't really keep track that well.
If one should come on tomorrow that you love, what would you do?
I wouldn't do anything because I haven't sold my house.
Okay, so in order to move into that condo, we kind of need to sell your house first. What if there was
Yeah.
a way in which you could say stay in your home, sell your house, and the buyer allows you to stay in there for a period of time in order to get you to purchase your condo? Would that be something you'd be interested in?
Oh yeah, yeah, like call that like a rent back, right? Are you familiar with those? Do you know how to do that?
I gotta stop you. I mean, this is so perfect. You are doing an awesome job. It's
Yeah.
kind of like I'm watching these YouTube videos now of they're happy stories where they rescue dogs and they bring them back to health. And these dogs that aren't used to humans, and so you got put a little treat out there. And what she's doing is at these little questions, she's bringing her to the exact point of realization that you can't buy. There's stuff out there, and it goes so fast. And well, what if you could? And so it's awesome. You guys see that. And I know some people get too antsy. They want to land the plane. Your approach is awesome. I'll let you finish. This is fun to listen to.
Okay.
Where were we?
Yes, right.
Where were we?
I think we were at the point where you said if I asked, you asked about the lease back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I've heard about
Okay.
that. Do you know how that works? I don't know how that works.
Actually, I've done it one recently, where I had a buyer that they closed on a home. The homeowner needed a month to move, and everything was done. They got the month, and they moved out the 1st of February, literally just the other day. And now the buyer is happy, the seller is happy. So I'm very familiar with it. Is that something that you would do?
Yeah, I mean, that would be the perfect situation. But like, would a buyer do a rent back for me?
Yes, they will. There are plenty of buyers out there that with interest rates where it's at right now, they want to come in, secure a price, secure their interest rates because there's talk of the interest rates going up. So they want to come in now to secure the property without necessarily having to move now because they may be on a lease, they need another month or two, but they want to secure that property now. So definitely, yes.
Okay, hang on a minute. So right there, I'm just going to interject one thing. You want to make them reach. You can't make it sound easy because then if it's easy, they don't have anything invested. So if you think you could find somebody to do that, well, I don't know. I'm just asking if it could be done.
Okay.
Would you be interested? See, you want them walking towards you. One more thing she did well, and it's like, this is awesome. She asked a question about the rent backs, then she answered the question. Too many newer agents stop with the answer. She went right back, took control with is that something you would be interested in? So that's beautiful. So when you're answering a question, sometimes you have to answer a question, right? Because they ask one.
Mm-hmm.
Just when you're done, take control by asking another question. So we're right at there. You're going to be able to land a plane. You're on final approach. You can see the lights of the runway. How do we finish it?
Okay. Sorry, your name is Vanessa? I didn't.
Valerie.
Valerie, sorry. Okay, Valerie. So that is something that could be possible. If it is possible, is that something you'd be willing to do?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the only way to find that out is for me to put your property on the market, get it sold, and find you a buyer that will allow you to do so. Are you ready to make that step?
Yes.
Okay, great. Sign here.
All right, so I'm going to give you a hand. I thought
You did
that was
awesome.
great. What? Any feedback, John? What was your blink on that?
I mean, look, Denny, like you said, I mean, she walked her down every single step, side by side with her. She wasn't dragging her. She wasn't pushing her. She was just like, let me just bring you along. She was painting a picture. It was really awesome. I get caught up in this all the time. I just want to land the plane. You know, I'm at 5,000 feet and I'll nosedive to the ground just because I want to land the plane. That was a beautiful descent into the landing there. Great job, Raquel.
Right.
What I loved is that you made me come to the realization of like what I had to do. Instead of telling me what I had to do, I was the one telling myself because you were asking the right questions. It was awesome.
That was nice. And that's cool. That's great feedback, Val, because when you role play, it's not just the agent. Sometimes it's the seller. You're attempting to get into the mind of the seller, and you get into the role and you learn some things. So
yeah, I was literally like, I can't sell my house. I need to sell my house. Like, ding.
Yeah, well, if that's your house, you got some clutter. You got some clutter in the background there. You may want to take care of. So. All right, let's get into shift gears now. Let's go to a buyer. So before we get into the number one buyer objection is, hey, I heard the market's going to go down, so I don't want to buy at the wrong time. I'm going to give you this one. This is the one I want you to work on. You guys say you have it. I can't find anything I like in my price range, so I'll just wait. So John, find a potential agent and a potential buyer. Get some volunteers, or if they start looking away or whatever you may. And if you can, you guys, get your cameras on too, so we can see who you are. Sometimes you can't, I get it. So if you can, that'd be awesome. So I need an agent, a buyer's agent, and a buyer.
All right, I'm thinking that Jim Martell is really looking forward to being the agent on this one. I can tell by the look in his face. Awesome. Kevin Dolan, you ready to be the buyer? You're muted, Kevin.
Still muted, Kev. You're still muted.
Got it.
There we
I'm
go.
here.
All right.
Thank you.
Kevin is the buyer. Jim, you're the agent.
Good.
Can't find anything I like in my price range, so I'll just wait 3 minutes and go.
I understand completely, Kevin. So let me ask you, is there, other than not being able to find anything in your price range that you like, is there any other reason why you wouldn't write an offer today?
All right, I'm gonna coach you. In
Okay.
this market, we don't want people to write offers. That suggests what?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. No, we're learning. These are fine things that maybe no one would pick up.
Right.
Anything else that would keep you from building equity in this market?
Mm.
Nice.
That's a little stronger, isn't it?
It's extremely stronger, completely different. So
So
other than that, Kevin, is there any reason why you would pass on building equity in this market?
Good job.
No, but that's very, very important to me. So that's maybe the only one, but that's extremely important.
Okay. And so when you say you haven't been able to find anything that you like in your price range, tell me more about that. Like, what have you been doing to find houses that you like in your price range?
Well, I went to a couple agents and they didn't really, they weren't very enthusiastic, or they didn't seem that, they seemed like they just want to get in and get out and make the commission.
Interesting. So did you sign a buyer brokerage agreement with any of them?
No, but I was offered that several times.
Interesting. Okay. And who's your lender?
I don't have one.
Now that is a great response. Now that might be part of the great pre-qualification process, Jim. However, is that important now?
It is for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to, I mean, he just said that he's been offered buyer brokerage agreements, but he doesn't have a lender. And so he hasn't signed a buyer brokerage agreement and he doesn't have a lender. So yeah, we're going back to we're going to step 2 and step 3 in my process. Because he wants to go to step 4 and we can't get there without these 2 things. You're muted, Denny.
Denny, you're muted.
So is your appointment closing for a buyer broker agreement?
No.
Okay. So the only thing I'll say, and I'll let you go on, is let's keep it kind of to this objection just from a time standpoint.
Sure.
It's important to ask them if they're paying cash or financing before you ask if they talk to a lender. Because the answer you got was no.
True. Yeah.
And sometimes they'll just say no. Well, you got to talk to a lender. Well, I'm paying cash. So you got to find out first if they're paying cash. They might be insulted. So
Absolutely.
all right.
No,
So let's say we're halfway there. Keep going another minute.
Okay, great. So Kevin, are you paying cash or borrowing?
I would be borrowing, but
You'd be
no,
borrowing.
there's,
You'd be borrowing and you haven't talked to a lender. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Well, so if we were able to get you with a lender that made you feel comfortable with their product, and then we were able to find a house in your price range that you like, I mean, is there any reason why we wouldn't get together and do that?
no, there isn't. You'd be the first one though.
Okay, well, that's okay. It wouldn't be the first time that I'd be the first one to get us there.
So you got the appointment, right?
Yeah, why don't we do this, Kevin? I'm going to shoot you an informative email. It's got the steps in the process and it makes a couple of referrals. I'll follow up with you tomorrow, and we'll get rolling on this and get you into the house of your dreams.
Well, how do I know that you're qualified?
How do you know that I'm qualified?
Yes, sir.
I guess that's a great question. How did you run into my phone number in the first place?
Well, some of the people that I spoke to were not very good, and they recommended you.
Wow, that's interesting.
You got a good recommendation from a bad recommendation. I don't know if that cancels each other out.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know. Even I've never had that said, but I like the I like having it put back on me like that. So
that's all right. Well, good. Well, that's good. So you got the appointment. That's the objective on that. So, John, any thoughts? Anyone want to break that down, and then we'll find somebody else or go with the same objection.
So
because let's just go on the next iteration of this. Let's just assume there's nothing out there that he likes in his price range. So go ahead, John.
Okay, I was gonna say there's one just a fine tuning thing, Jim. A little bit of jargon in there that a lot of buyers may not actually know. You asked if he signed. Yes, Kevin, have you signed a buyer broker agreement?
Okay.
Try saying something like this. Have you signed anything that would prohibit us from working together?
Nice.
Okay. Some states, because we're all over the country here, some states have exclusive buyer agency agreements. Some have disclosure statements. Buyers don't really know what they're signing. So good questions, you learn something. Great questions, they learn something about themselves. And this is an opportunity to ask a great question, because this will help bring clarity if they signed anything or even what they signed.
Thank you.
Good input, John. Awesome. Who's next? John, find some subjects.
Can I ask a question?
You may.
Okay, so I once asked a client, okay, what's your financing situation or whatever? And he's like, what do you mean? So is it more clear if I say, are you planning to use cash or a mortgage as opposed to general financing?
Well, my whole point was there's either way is okay, whatever you like. I just said, make sure you ask, are you paying cash or financing first? Don't go right. Have you been pre-qualified without finding out they might be a cash buyer?
Okay. And also, what is it called? I heard you. Thank you. What is it called when because you said something, if when you say, if you found exactly what you wanted, or if it was in move-in ready condition, then would you proceed? What is that called when you kind of paint that picture? Is there a name for that?
Yeah, it's in the model. It's a close. It's a closing question. If you found that, would you buy it?
All right.
That's why when you have to ask the closing questions. Other than that, you're driving Miss Daisy. I mean, you'd be driving all over the place, right?
That's what happens with me. So it's like, and then what direction? Ultimately, I was going to clarify. If they say, let's say you're door knocking or calling on the phone and you get the objection. Well, I have nowhere to go. So are you handling it differently on the phone than in person? And what if you're handling it over the phone?
Yeah. Well, John, what do you think about that?
I think I have to apologize because I just got a phone call from Mr. Gilman and had to step away from. I apologize for that.
The bottom line is when you're having phone conversations and they're in Akron and you're not, you can't meet. So you would then have a conversation. If you're lead generating and I don't want to do it for that, or I don't, what's your commission? I'll go over that. See if you can't. Most of the time, the objections should be handled in conversations at the table or conversations on the phone. Not, I was talking to someone. I don't know if she's on the phone. She's got a client that just wants text. It's hard. It's a challenge to have a conversation on objection handling, etc. via electronic means because there's no tonality. So before we go to this next one, Susan, were you waving at somebody as you're driving, or is that something you want to play? You're muted, Susan. You're driving. I don't know if you're allowed to. No worries. Go ahead, John. We need some players.
All right. Al Baxter, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, perfect. And Glenda, you're right next to Al on my screen. So Glenda, lady's choice. Do you want to be the buyer or do you want to be the agent overcoming Al's objections?
She muted.
I think she turned her camera off instead of turning her microphone on.
Okay, got it.
Awesome.
Okay, got it.
So which one are you?
Okay, buyer.
All right.
So I'm the buyer's agent?
Al is the agent. Glenda is the buyer. Susan, sorry, we missed you. We'll get you to the next one, okay?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Sorry. All right, let's go. You know the objection, Al. You're handling it, right?
Yeah. What's the question? I mean, what's the,
Right here.
I can't find anything I like in my price
range.
range, so I'll just wait.
okay, Glenda, I appreciate the opportunity to sit down and meet with you. And from what you indicated previously, you're having a
My
difficult
first time. Okay.
You're having a difficult time finding something in the market that will work for you. How long have you been looking?
Oh, I've been looking for 2 months.
Hang on, Al. Are you following the model?
If you could find something that would work for you.
Acknowledge,
No.
isolate.
No, the isolate, I mean, you acknowledged, isolate. Other
Is there
than that,
anything outside of that, is there anything else that would prevent you from moving forward?
Yes, if I could get it sooner, maybe within a month.
Okay. So if we could find something that you could get into,
are you done yet? Are you done isolating? You're done when they say you're done.
is there any other objections that would prevent you from moving forward?
No, there isn't.
Okay. All right, well, let's, if that's okay, then let's go forward and see if we can't find you something that's readily available. What
I ain't gonna
will
work.
be your ideal time frame?
No. Hang on now. Oh, hang on. What is the thing you really want to know? There's one or two things that are happening here. So what?
No, obviously, what it is she's looking for in particular.
Well, that actually does not matter right now.
Okay.
It does matter. It doesn't matter right now. What is the one thing that anyone can share? What is the one thing you have to figure out right now with this buyer?
Can she buy without selling?
All right. So let's just assume that she's a cash buyer, and this can happen. A cash buyer can't find anything they like in the price range, so I'm going to wait. So they don't have to sell.
What's the motivation?
So what's the motivation to move forward?
Yeah, well, she's renting now.
So what's the expiration on her lease?
She can break it anytime. There's something I want you focused on. Sometimes before we get into the granular, I want you to think big picture. If you've got a buyer out there that's not finding what they like, there's one of two things.
Well, as earlier, I was going to ask her how it's been that she's been looking into the marketplace, and whether she's been looking on her own or if she's been working with somebody.
Yeah, that's a good question. It's not at the center. What's the central point?
Was there anything that she did like that she saw?
That's a good start. All right. So let's just assume, I'm sorry, I've kind of taken over as the buyer, Glenda. So it's okay. Let's assume that she had. Where would you go with the next question?
Did
And
you
I'm
put
sorry,
it on?
Go ahead, Al. I'm sorry.
I didn't hear what her response was
Has she
earlier.
seen anything she likes?
And what is it that you saw? Or, well, yeah, obviously. Glenda, did you see anything that you liked?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I
hang on.
haven't.
No, hang on, Glenn. I'm sorry. I want this to go in a certain direction. Yes, I did.
Oh.
Can you
Okay.
describe to me what that was?
That's okay. Now, again, those are all great questions. What I'm attempting to have you do is identify the big picture up front. Watch this. Let me just demonstrate this. John, now you be that buyer for me, and you found something you liked. So have you
Denny,
seen anything you like, John?
I found a couple houses that I like. They're gone already though.
I got that. Now, you said you can't find anything like in your price range. Were those houses in your price range?
They were a little above where I'd like to be.
Okay, and so you're saying that if another one came around, that you would take advantage of it?
Probably, yeah, at this point.
Well, I don't see that as a hard one to work. I mean, it's like then okay, so I would take them down. Then are you ready? If one were to come on, then the
But
next
Denny,
15.
what's the realization that I had as a buyer at that moment?
Well, you acted too slow.
Well, that the price range isn't my price range.
Well, okay. That's where I wanted to go with this. Is if they're seeing stuff they like, you guys, and they're saying I'm not finding it in my price range. Let's take it that it was not in your price range, right?
Okay, it wasn't in my price range. It was 20% above.
We'll put a number on it.
200,000.
It's $200,000 above your price range.
Yep.
Now, you guys, I'm asking you the question. Just simply put, big picture. What has to happen? What has to happen for this buyer to find a home? There's only two things.
I had this morning. I said, the house is too small for us. Oh, am I going? Okay.
Well, okay. Well, I don't want the story. I want to know.
I know the story. They need to go out and see and then decide. That's what I think. And then do choice. No. Okay.
No, not yet.
What were
It's just-
expectations?
What?
Their expectations.
Yes, that's one. That's
But
one.
that expectations if they don't actually see it. They may want something that's 200,000. Okay.
That's just, no. They have to adjust their expectations or what? Adjust their budget. You're going to run into these people because inventory is so low that they're going to have to adjust their expectations or adjust their budget. Now, where John was going, you'd be lucky to have a buyer like John. Yeah, I see things, but they're gone before I can get to them. So if one came available today, right now, would you be ready to move forward? I hear a little wind, so I don't know, somebody on a motorcycle.
I think Susan is jostling around in her car a little bit.
Okay, Susan, you may want to mute yours. So somebody take it. It's the houses I like are $200,000 above where I want. Who wants to take that? You as the agent. Susan, I don't know, you're kind of noisy. Who else is there, John?
Let's see. We haven't called on anyone from Alaska in a while.
Who's in the Alaska room?
Haley's eyes are bugging out of her head. She's like, shoot, I'm the only one from Alaska with my camera on. Kaylee, you want to try it?
They just had breakfast in Alaska.
All right. I know.
Sure. Sure, I can try, but I'm not as good at the buyer scripting, but I can give it a shot to play the game.
Hey, we're all there at some point. And it's fun because it's like 7 a.m. there. Okay. So yeah, Kaylee, can't find anything in my price range. Everything I want is $200,000 too high.
Okay, John, so remind me, are we going to be paying cash or refinancing?
What was that again?
Are we going to be paying cash for your next property or are we going to finance?
No, I'm gonna be paying cash. I'm at that point where I don't want any mortgages anymore.
Okay, and where are you living now? Do you own or rent?
I own.
Okay, and remind me, is this going to be an investment property or your primary home that we're
No, it's gonna be my
into?
primary home.
Okay, great. So I don't know where to go from here. Help me.
Who wants to throw a
You haven't
lifeline?
gone anywhere yet.
Yeah, so I've just been acknowledging. So now to isolate, now
Other than the price.
where are you wanting to move to, John?
Kaylee, other than the price,
Other than the price,
is there anything keeping you from moving forward?
is there anything keeping you from moving forward?
No, it's just the price.
Okay. And you're not seeing any homes in your price range that you like?
No. Who's got a lifeline for her?
Mm-hmm. Help me.
Anybody? I'm dying to jump in. You know me. I like to play.
Denny, I know exactly what you're going to say. Go ahead and say it.
Well, I want you guys.
Guys, I just am having a hard time.
That's okay. You guys, what I want you to see, sometimes you can get, if for those people that like to land the plane fast, watch this. So John, okay, so you haven't seen anything in your price range. So let me ask you, are you willing to adjust your price range or adjust your criteria?
What do you mean, Denny?
Well, if nothing exists in your price range now, because we're missing it by 200,000, and the market's going up, right?
Yeah.
What's the probability something will be in your price range in the future?
Oh, it's at some point.
Now,
Right.
Notice I am dealing with him, not what he's looking for, because the problem is not with inventory. The problem is between his ears.
Let's ask my wife. She'll tell you the same thing.
Y'all getting that, right? So I know these questions you want to ask what you're looking for. It does not matter. It doesn't matter. You're wasting time. John, if it doesn't exist now, will it exist in the future?
Maybe someday.
Okay. So,
I mean, the prices have to come back at some point, right?
okay. And so if it took 5 or 10 or 15 or 25 years, are you okay with that?
No.
So therefore, my question, if you want to get, as Don Henley would say, to the heart of the matter, is do you want to adjust your budget or adjust your criteria?
Could you make a suggestion for the criteria that possibly, because let's say some people, they don't want to adjust their expectations in terms of housing. So they're not willing to move from where they are to a new housing situation that doesn't meet their criteria. However, they want equity in the market. So could we adjust, how would you adjust our expectation in terms of perhaps you want to buy an investment property? So in the future, you're still in the market. Would you go there? Because
Well, maybe I want to stay on this track right now, and because there's something. Would anyone have a difficult time asking a buyer that?
Asking what?
Do you want to adjust your price or adjust your expectations?
There's some noise.
It's a great question.
It's a great question.
And I do this every day with Denny. And that question stumped me because you know what? I don't want to make the choice. And the realization is that I had at that moment as a buyer is I have one of 3 choices to make. Stay where I am, which is not an option. Adjust my price or adjust what I'm looking to buy. So it comes down to a greater pain issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, because he has 2 choices. He has 2 choices. He either adjusts something or he stays where he is. Susan, you might have to mute. There's background noise there. So why not get right to it? Now, let's say, all right, so any thoughts on that? Everything else, every other conversation is basically moot until they come to the realization that they have to adjust something. So if they said, how would you adjust expectations? Well, instead of being at Boardwalk and Park Place, maybe they'd have to back up until Pennsylvania or New York or Baltic. Oh my gosh. For those people who play Monopoly. Maybe from a budget standpoint, they're $200,000 apart. So let me ask you, John, you're paying cash, right?
Yeah.
How did you come? Now, Now this is where you could take them, and I can finish this in the next minute and get your ahas ready. Well, if you can't, what if you could, would you ever consider using financing, because interest rates are very, very low, almost free, to make up the difference? So you can begin building equity.
I'm really not comfortable with a mortgage, so at some point, I guess I have to make a decision on whether I'm going to get a mortgage or not.
Well, what if the mortgage was free?
What do you mean?
What if the mortgage didn't, I mean, so what bothers you about the mortgage, having the debt or making the payments?
Honestly, it's not the payment, it's just the debt. I finally got to the point where I'm debt free.
Okay, so you're no longer interested in building net worth?
No, of course I want to build net worth. Doesn't everybody?
Well, if you were to take and borrow $200,000, and that's gonna be roughly $900 a month or $30 a day. So let's just keep it $900 a month. And what if, if you look back historically, home prices, I said this in the beginning, are up between 20 and 30%. We don't know what they're going to do. So let's assume that maybe your home goes up $950 in value every month. Now you're basically in for free at that point in time. Would the debt bother you?
No.
So you could have a conversation like that to get them into. So you either have to have a conversation, they're going to go in from, maybe a really big house on 100 acres to, maybe a double wide on 3 acres, right? Or you're going to have them work on their budget. One of two things. That's where you take this buyer. I mean, I would love to have hair like Thor. I just got to get my expectations realistic. That's not going to happen. So did you find that at all helpful? We got a minute or so. What did you learn? Yes, there's actually a YouTube. If somebody would put in there the YouTube link so Laura can watch these that are recorded. What did you learn today? What were your ahas?
Like not being caught up in the weeds, but I need more practice on that. And then the other aha was like closing. Like that's where understanding the direction, the pattern, the path that you need to go in. I would love to work on like phone objections versus appointment objections. And really, if we could have like getting that appointment over the phone, objections in that's something that would interest me. So those are my ahas. Yeah,
well, awesome. And you're getting better. You're getting better.
Well, when I watched Raquel, I was like, whoo, she blew it out of the park.
Today's my first day actually doing it. I've always been on listening. So I listen and learn. And today's actually the day I played.
Give me an aha. So give me some ahas before we go. The link is
I have one.
Okay.
When you said, if you can't find a property now in your price range, do you think one will come up in the future? I was like, that was a real slap. Like it was a slap back to realization and to reality. So I thought that was pretty powerful.
Well, if you're $200,000 apart, I mean, probably, I don't know if the seller is going to take an offer $200,000 less, right? So we are professionals, and we got to help. We got to save them from themselves, because here is the thing: if the market continues, or at least stays where it is, even if it's flat, they're hurting their chances of building net worth. They're hurting themselves, maybe in their family and the quality of life, if they don't make the move. So what, they have to go a little bit smaller. So what if they don't get the third garage, or they don't get the extra acre? Or really, is really $30 a day going to keep you from having the house you guys want? Particularly, you're going to be building equity. So we're working with our team on making sure they understand it's not the $800,000 investment. It's the $200,000 difference, or the $100,000 or the $50,000 difference. Write this number down so you can practice it. Doesn't really matter what the specific interest rate is. Somewhere between $4 and $5 per thousand. 5 is easy to remember. Every $10,000 you borrow over 30 years is $50 a month. That's it. So if it's 100,000, is that right, John? Yeah. Yeah, so if it's
Spot on.
50,000, it's, what?
Fif-
$250 a month.
50,000 is 250, $500 for $100,000.
Denny, I have a quick question before you go.
Yeah, Moses.
I had only two interactions this week, and I noticed that one is going to buy for sure and one is going to sell for sure, but they're both playing the field. And it made me wonder how to follow up lightly or know when to back off.
Set it up. Give me one scenario quickly and we'll see.
They're both just playing the field, and it's implied agency, you know, because I've been talking to them,
Okay.
but we have no, nothing in writing.
Well, what do you mean you say playing the field? What do you mean?
They're talking to other agents. You know, one is a buyer, you know, they have, they know investors and whatnot that will pay for the property and improvements, but, you know, are talking to me as an agent. And one seller that I know is going to list, I've been talking to for some time, he talks to everybody, and I need to follow up to get the listing, but how do I know how to do it safely? You know, when to back off or when to move forward.
Oh, you don't want to be, you don't want to be too pressury.
Exactly.
How did you leave the last conversation?
The last conversation I left great, focusing on cap rate and a qualified intermediary, but the seller, I was only able to send a Chicago title lens picture and a note.
I'll let John land this plane because you're talking his language, you're talking 1031 exchange, and he's into all the dynamics of the numbers. However, for the rest of you, here's the thing. What I was asking is, on every conversation that you people that you're following up with, are you closing for the next follow-up? If you are saying, look, I'll get back to you on that next week, or hey, do you mind if I stay in touch? Is that okay? Or when's the right time to get back in touch with you? Now, when you follow up on your word, you're not bugging them. So John, you can handle that if you want.
I was just going to ask Denny if I could get a reprieve, and I'll get with Moses offline on that just because I'm late for Quantum Leap.
Got
No,
it.
it's okay. I think Danny answered it. I got my answer. Thank you so much. You guys have a good week.
All right. Awesome.
All
Thanks,
right, be
guys.
careful out there. Thanks for being here. Bye.